What was I thinking? Was this in the plan? Well, it wasn't for the next 2 years. I've bought a narrowboat. Okay, so coming towards the end of my drive, got about a mile to go to the Marina and the handover of my narrowboat. And we've arrived. Time to pick up the keys. Well, that is it. Keys picked up, bag of goodies picked up, and I'm on my way down to the boat. And here we are. Grey Wagtail. Oh, feels cold and quite damp in here. Certainly needs a bit of heating on, take the chill off. At least all the condensation is on the outside of the boat. And that's it. Welcome aboard. Welcome to Grey Wagtail. Tremendous amount of condensation on her, although I think that's all on the outside, so that's good. Looking stunning from the rubbing strip down where it's been newly blacked, so that's nice. Right, I'm now on board Grey Wagtail. I've got the side hatches open and some of the windows open because it's actually warmer outside than it is in. That's hard to believe, but it is. And the purpose of this visit is to work out what I need to bring on board for my first cruise to take it to its new mooring over on the Oxford Canal. So this is Grey Wagtail, and I've got to work out what all of this does, where everything is, and how it works, and what is going on with it. I guess the first thing I need to do is work out how that works, and also understand all these other bits and pieces that I've got around here. I mean, I don't remember seeing that when I came the other week to look at it. No idea what it is. We've got a bunch of switches up there, not sure about those. We've got another little tank over there, not sure what that does. I do know that down there I've got the batteries. Not sure what the Sterling Power Products thing is. And in here I've got a ton of electrics, and I've got no idea what any of that does. Not a clue. We've got a solar charger there, we've got a pure sine wave inverter there, so I think that is taking up the 12 volts to 240. Something down there, I'm not sure what it is at all, but I guess I'm going to find out. Okay, so let's start this process at the front of the boat. We've got the water inlet down there. We've got our crutch cover, little lockable table thing here that folds down, and in here a bunch of navigation gear. Looks like a large spanner, what I would call a sort of pin thing. I'm sure it's got a proper name. Mooring chains, a couple of windlasses. So mooring gear in that front locker. Coming back into the boat, this corner, a diesel fired stove. Not a clue how that works. Guess I'm going to learn and find out. Here we've got another locker which is full of, well, I don't know, something to light the fire with, some tongs, a chimney, another chimney. Not entirely sure what's in that red thing there. That looks suspiciously like fire lighters. Something about cleaning tablets there. And in this tin, if I can get it open, what looks like more firelighters and smells like more firelighters. I guess these are for lighting the diesel stove. I will find out. Behind the movable step is a hatch, and in here it looks like I've got a bunch of stuff to do with the water supply. Appears to be pumps in there. That's a pressure tank. I recognise that from my flat days. And that's what's in there. Not a lot. I assume that's the main water tap there in the centre. In the corner here I've got some cupboards. Oh, what's this? Looks like a life jacket of some sort. No idea how old it is. Looks like it's quite old though. Inflatable life jacket. And then another inflatable life jacket. So, not sure about that at all, how old it is. Have to check that out and find out about it. Nothing else in that cupboard. Drawer above. Looks like some more covers for the boat. Not entirely sure which part of the boat that's for. Back maybe? I don't know. Again, I'm going to find out what that's for. Empty drawer. Empty cupboard. Here we've got a small TV and what looks like a sort of 70s radio deck or 80s. Very odd. Anyway, I'll investigate that later. Going around, not a lot here. Fridge, freezer. Nothing in any of these drawers and cupboards. So, I will need to do a full household stock, couple of chopping boards, oil, oh, a wok, another chopping board. So nothing in the kitchen. We've got a fire extinguisher there and fire blanket. Up here we've got a carbon monoxide detector, and I'm pretty sure that this here is a smoke detector. Now this is interesting and something I've not seen before or heard about before on a narrowboat. Are these common? This is an LPG alarm, and it makes sense having it close down there on the floor because LPG is heavier than air. So if I get a leak, it's going to go down there, and that's where the alarm needs to be. So, LPG alarm, excellent. Going through to the bathroom, we've got the set for cassette there. Nothing else much in here. More cassettes under there and some cleaning equipment and the chemicals for the cassettes. Washing machine. Another cupboard, not much in there. Fly swat, interestingly. Not sure what that is at the back. Oh, clothes pegs. There you go. Shower. Not a lot to see in there. Coming back. Bedroom. Cupboard with wardrobe. And something down the bottom there. I'm not entirely sure what that is. What's down here? It looks like an access hatch. Ah, that looks suspiciously like the water tank. Hot water tank to me. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. Some more electrics in the corner here. Water heater with Basto. So that's a central heating system. 2 40-volt plugs. Coming out into the engine room. Oh, we've got a lot of stuff in here. Gearbox oil. WD-40. Looks like enough gear there to almost service the engine. We've got a clamp for taking off the oil filter. Not entirely sure what that pumpy thing is there, but that all looks pretty good. Under here we've got a couple of stopcocks. That's all fine. Had a bit of trouble putting that back. This plank had slid forward. Over there looks like we've got some engine oil. And I know over here we've got the batteries. Which are all nicely stored in there. That mystery object in the corner there, I've just worked out, must be part of the central heating system because it's labelled Webasto. So there you go. And then into the boatsman's cabin. Nothing in that cupboard. Nothing in that cupboard. This is the boatsman's bed. Okay, oh, we've got TV aerial there with magnetic stand. Life buoy. Looks like another aerial connection in there. On this side. We've then got the traditional fold-down table. Nothing in there apart from something from Beta Marine. Not entirely sure what that is. I'll have a look later. Drawer. And I've got a few bits and pieces in here. Some lamps. Bit of wood, some batteries. Not exactly sure where that heat miser is, but I'll find out. Down the bottom here we've got the landline. Okay, definitely need to get a meter made then. There isn't one on it. And we've got a cupboard here. Doesn't appear to be anything much in it apart from some spare tiles up that end. So we lock that up. Underneath here we have the prop shaft. Oh, and the anchor. That's handy to know. I'm not entirely sure what that large pipe is down there. Guess I'll investigate that later. You can't quite see it. It's in the dark there at the back. So here we've got a large sort of thing with a pipe on it. I can only assume that's the fuel tank. I'm not entirely sure what that plate's for at the end there. All seems to be firmly in place. Everything looks nice and clean and dry under the engine there, which is good. So if we have a closer look, that's just underneath the engine. All looks clean and dry, which is good to see. Another sort of step down here, which has got, oh, it's full of paint. Okay, so that's handy to know. That's what's in there. Got some more navigation gear there tucked away in the corner next to the tiller and the all-important tiller pin. And in this corner we've got a boatsman's stove. I have a small cupboard here with some bits and bobs in boxes. Not entirely sure what they are. Nuts and bolts. Yeah, some bits and bobs. Large knife there for the weed hatch, I assume. And a little lamp there. If I slide that box out of the way, lift this up. Bit more of the prop shaft. I've found out what the strange hose thing was in the corner. It's absolutely nothing. It's not attached to anything. I'm not entirely sure what it's for, or the other hose come to that. So far I haven't found the thingy for greasing the stern gland. Guess it's behind that cupboard there, that wall there. And then here we've got a little lift up cupboard. And I don't know if we can see in there. Still no sign of grease gland. Actually, we've got a drop down here. There it is. That's the thing I'm looking for. And there's the pot of grease. So that's all good. Something over in that corner which needs investigating. So I'll have a look at that later. Right, that all seems fine. And finally, last two places to look inside. We've got a little cupboard here. Mooring pins. That's good. More chains. Excellent. I haven't found any of those yet. And in this one solitary fender. I haven't seen a large mallet Oh, I haven't seen a large mallet for banging in said pins. Maybe it's in here. No, not obvious. Ah, found the mallet, tucked away in the corner. Jolly good. And one thing I need to do is put up my license so I'm all nice and legal for cruising on the canals. And there it goes. Now, interestingly, I've got a continuous cruiser license, even though I'm not going to be a continuous cruiser. It's the only way I could get a license to move the boat to the marina in which it's going to be spending the winter. So there it is, all legal. So what goodies did I get in the bag from the marina? Well, I've got a big thick folder here of information on the boat, which is good. I need to read all of that. A sort of welcome pack with information in it and official documents. A Wilton Marina bum bag. A Wilton Marina cap. And 2 mugs with pens in. A little torch thingy, some lanyards, some tea, coffee, and in the other mug exactly the same. Some tea bags, milk, dried milk, coffee, and a pen. Right, I've checked the diesel and that seems fine. Let's have a look at the water. Okay, not a huge amount there, a little chain there to see how much is there. I'd guess about half a tank. I'm not sure what these are. There are several of them around the boat. I think it's something to do with the side hatches, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll have a look and investigate in more detail at a later date. I've had a quick read of the instructions as provided to me. A huge book. It's going to take a lot more studying. And I think I understand a little bit more about what's going on now. Now, this is what has me slightly worried. I've got to take Grey Wagtail from its current mooring out of this marina, under that bridge, and head off to the Oxford Canal. And I've never driven a 57-foot boat before or handled the Grey Wagtail. So I don't know how she steers, how she handles, or even how the engine revs work for speed, etc. So it's going to be an interesting experience. And that's the exit from the marina. And as I leave, I have to turn left. My original plan was to turn right and take Grey Wagtail down the Grand Union Canal to get familiar with it. But due to a shortage of time, it looks like I won't be able to do that and will have to turn left. And there's a problem with that, which I'll show you shortly. And this is the problem. I've got to come out of here. It's quite a tight turn underneath the bridge. And as I said, I was originally going to go right down the canal to get familiar with the boat, but due to lock closures, winter closures, I'm going to have to make a move quickly to the new marina, which means turning left and heading up here, which you may not think is a problem. However, within a minute of turning left, I encounter a lock. And there's a series of locks that I need to go up to continue on my way. So I will be in a new boat that I haven't driven before, a boat of a length I've not used before, and I go straight out of a marina, straight into a series of locks. So this will be the first lock that I have to do, and I will be traveling on my own. I will be single-handing, which again is something I've never done before. So that is lock 1. So this is lock 2, and as you can see, there's a lot of water coming over the top, and I guess this is why they're being closed in January for repairs, and one of the reasons why I need to move the boat before Christmas. Lock 2 is almost immediately followed by, you guessed it, lock 3. And this is lock 3. which I'll have to get through on my first day on the narrowboat. And there in the distance, just past that bridge, is lock 4. So that's 4 locks almost straight away upon leaving the marina. So in the first mile and a half, I've got 7 locks to get through. That's going to be a real challenge for me as a new single-hander on a narrowboat, and on a narrowboat that I've not driven before, and on a length of narrowboat that I've not used. So 7 locks in the first mile and a half. I wonder what will happen. There's also the Braunston Tunnel, which I have to get through. So another challenge. So if you want to keep up to date with what's going on, please subscribe to the newsletter. The QR code for that should be on the screen now. And as I said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, which should be on the screen now. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.